have the technology. Okay. All right, we're joined tonight by head coach Ben Hallett and West Liberty players Pat Robinson III, Bryce Butler, and Preston Boswell. Coach Hallett, very nice win tonight over a talented Fairmont State team.
Yeah, it's a really good win for our program, for our young guys. I try to tell these guys before every game like how important each game and each opponent are, and because a lot of these guys don't know how certain things will work with conference play and regional play. This was a really big win for us against Fairmont, who've gotten some good quality wins under their belt, and this was a pretty serious game for us that we almost needed to win. It puts us in a good position, obviously conference-wise, and I think we're solid regional-wise, but just the effort that these guys showed today. It was a typical Fairmont West Liberty game. Like, every time you think you had a lead, they're going to come down and make some type of a tough shot. It seems like whenever we play those guys, they've got a guy that just gets unconscious. And we've seen it here with Jason Jolly for a couple years. Tonight it was Kenzie Milko. Kenzie Milko really, I thought, played a really good game for them. And I thought a lot of the times we played pretty good defense on him, and he made some tough shots. But, you know, credit to our guys. I think all of our guys, even, coach, our red shirts, the coaching staff, the managers, everyone really, bought into our game plan. And these guys are really fun to coach. They like playing with each other. They like each other off the court, and it's really fun right now. The problem is we got to get over this win pretty quick because we got a game on Saturday. So I just told these guys, feel good about it for a little bit, and then tomorrow we'll get back to work and start focusing on Saturday.
Coach, do you feel like you needed to be like in a competitive battle that you came out on top? Because like past 5 games, you guys averaged, even all your wins actually, like you guys won by at least like 15, 20 points. So I mean, like to be in a competitive battle like this and finally come out on the winning end with this young group right here. So
for sure, and it's, we do a lot of like 3-minute games in practice. We call them 3-minute games, and it's where we put a certain score on the scoreboard and we say play it out, but there's no crowd. It really doesn't mean anything if you lose. Today it actually meant something to play in one of those games. And we had a tough, close game at Charleston where we ended up on the losing end. Lost a close game to Wesleyan here at home early. And so we were 0-2 in close games thus far. Now we're 1-2. And again, we beat a well-coached with a bunch of good players on his team, Fairmont team. So hopefully this can just keep propelling us for the next couple of games, and we'll see if we can get better here on Saturday.
Going back, and we had talked about a little earlier about we'd been in this position, close games, we'd had leads, kind of got away. We talked about the youth. What do you think? Do we win this game in the first semester?
I don't know, good question. I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe not. I think, and I told these guys before the game, I think guys are starting to know their role and they're starting to accept their role on the team. I think at the beginning of the year, we had a bunch of new guys just kind of playing, the way they were comfortable with, their old way. And we had a bunch, a couple transfers and a bunch of high school kids that weren't used to playing this style of play. And I think it took a couple games, and that's fine. That's the sign of a youthful team, but we're starting to mature. And you saw today, Bryce Butler played 28 minutes in a big-time game. He's a freshman, and he made a bunch of plays tonight. Like, some of those passes that he made, the normal guy can't throw those, and I hate to compare players, but those look like Eric Meininger passes out there. And, Bryce is going to continue to get better. He practices hard every day. And then I think these other 2 guys up here, I thought Preston probably had his best game of the year. He made some shots, but he was also the hustling maniac that he usually is. And I think Pat showed today why he's one of the best guards in our conference. And we're going to continue to ride his wings and ride our other guards' wings, and hopefully this can keep the streak going here on Saturday.
The fouls really seem to be a factor in the game, especially coming down the stretch. How difficult was it for you? I mean, I think you're 7 or 8 minutes in. You got 4 guys with 4 fouls, then you lose Luke with 6.5 to go. I mean, how hard was it to manage that?
It's tough. It was tough. The good thing was it was a lot of our guards were in foul trouble, so we've got plenty of guards that we can put in the game. I thought the officials actually did a really good job, and I know our fans probably didn't think so, but I thought they officiated very well tonight, and we just got to do a better job defensively. I think sometimes we're putting our hands on the offensive player and getting some touch fouls, but again, a lot of times we could have just said, you know what, we can't beat Fairmont and the referees, but tonight, again, we beat a good Fairmont team, and let's credit all of our players.
Impressive. You always come up big in big games. Like what Coach Halleck said, felt like this was your best game at Hilltopper. Feel like this was your best game?
Making shots wise, yeah, but I've just been I've been getting up extra shots, and our guys just like Pat and Dalton, those guys get in the lane and everybody dives in on them. So I was just spotting up and I was getting wide open shots. So they did a good job finding me. It was just as much them as it was me making shots.
And Pat Bryce, this can be for both of you. Playing in a game like this against Fairmont, I mean, you've probably been told by Dalton and all these veterans how big of a game this is. What was it like to play in this type of atmosphere?
I thought it was a lot of fun. I mean, high school I love playing in big games, and tonight definitely felt like a big game. And just try to play as hard as I can and had a lot of fun. So
It's just fun to be out there with your teammates, and everybody has so much confidence, and just playing under the experienced guys. And we got a good coach, so it was a lot of fun. He was ready for it.
Pat, really strong first half for you. And then it just seemed like the foul came early in the second half. How frustrating is it for you to have to sit out when you know you're on fire like that in a big game like that?
It's hard, but it's not as hard when I got people to pick me up. I mean, you could throw Bryce in there, you could throw whoever in there, and they could just take some of my heat and just play as good as I was, or even better. And we got a really deep team, so it's frustrating, but we came out with a win.
Yeah, one thing, you seem to do a really good job of it tonight, is keeping that middle edge, that when you do get back out on the floor, you basically pick up right where you left off. You know, is that something that you've learned over the years, or is it just something you've always had?
Yeah, I mean, the coach was telling me just keep my head up. I mean, just play how you play. Don't worry about fouls. And just keep your confidence, keep your head. So that's all.
Okay, Ben, last question. Moving forward, we're in the home stretch now. We're in the second half of the schedule. What do you see ahead in this league? Is it a little different than it has been in past years, or do you think?
I think so. Yeah, I think comparing it to years past, I think I think there's 5 or 6 teams kind of grouped all together, and there's not one quote unquote dominant team this year. I think there's a lot of good teams, but there's not one dominant team. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. And there's a lot of basketball left to be played. But again, as far as comparing league from year to year, a lot of teams similar to each other, not one dominant team, and it's going to be one heck of a ride the second half of the season.
Good. Thanks, gentlemen. I appreciate it.